This is part 7 of the Pacific. Mount Rainier National Park. The world of snow and ice atop Mount Rainier, 14,410 feet above sea level and 70 miles from Seattle, never thaws. At times, the annual snowfall exceeds 90 feet on the mountain slopes. But below Mount Rainier's frosty covering, conditions are the polar opposite. Inside the mountain is an active volcano, and it's the tallest one in the volcanic Cascade Range. Mount Rainier last erupted in the mid-19th century, leaving a small crater near the peak. Although the mountain has been quiet for more than 100 years, many scientists believe Mount Rainier is due for an eruption any day now, give or take a few thousand years. Mud flows from past eruptions snaked right through what is now downtown Seattle. The frigid climate at Rainier's peak fuels a number of glaciers. In winter, snow and ice accumulate, and the summer warmth then melts some of the ice. The glaciers currently cover 36 miles on Mount Rainier, amounting to about a cubic mile of ice and snow. Rainier has more glacier cover than any other mountain in the continental United States. However, the glaciers have been receding since the early 1980s, and all the water from that melting feeds the vibrant wildflowers. Come summertime, Rainier's subalpine meadows explode with color as lupines, monkey flowers, asters, and myriad other species bloom. The kaleidoscope of multi-hued flora is a startling contrast to the stark blue and white of the looming peak. So there's a picture of the creek that I don't know what I was talking about. I apologize. But there's a picture of that. And then there's a picture of the wildflowers that I was talking about. I do remember that. I know, that's so embarrassing. Hold on, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure out what that is. I really don't know. I really, it doesn't say anything. Mount St Helens. Washington's Mount St Helens is perhaps the most famous volcano in the United States. It earned its reputation the morning of May 18, 1980. The mountain shook and its north face cascaded into a lahar, a massive water and steam combined with volcanic debris. This created a towering mushroom column of ash that blotted out the sun and drifted into Idaho and beyond. 2 years later, President Ronald Reagan signed a bill making Mount St. Helens a national volcanic monument, allowing the ecosystem to respond naturally to the eruption. Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument attracts scientists who use it as a living laboratory, as well as hikers and other outdoor buffs. In recent years, Mount St. Helens has shown new signs of activity, with a lava dome growing under the crater left from the 1980 eruption. And there's a picture of Mount St. Helens. I also really want to visit this because it just sounds so. I've never seen a volcano before. I need to see a volcano. Museum of Glass. The Museum of Glass is Tacoma, Washington's splashy contribution to the contemporary art world. Its works in different media have one thing in common. They all incorporate glass. Visitors can browse permanent and temporary exhibitions of all kinds of contemporary glass art. The museum's visiting art collection is permanent, featuring works created on-site in the Hot Shop Amphitheater. The Hot Shop has hot and cold glass studios and seating for 138 visitors. The Chihuly Bridge of Glass connects the museum to downtown Tacoma. The 500-foot steel and glass pedestrian bridge is adorned with colorful glass spires. It serves as not only a walkway, but also as a display, providing a preview of the stunning glass art masterworks in the museum. There is that. Denali National Park and Preserve. Denali means the high one in the native Athabascan tongue. It's an apt monkier considering that the 20,320 foot tall mountain, also known as Mount McKinley, is North America's highest peak. It's also one of the most striking mountains in the world, when it's visible from the surrounding subarctic plateau. Because the park is so far north, 240 miles north of Anchorage, Alaska, its mountains are not forested like the Rockies and the Sahara Nevada. At Denali's northern latitude, the timberline falls between 2,000 and 3,000 feet. Below the rugged high country are tundra-covered snowlands. Immersed glaciers connect the two, creeping down Denali and the neighboring peaks. The park that encompasses Denali and the adjacent mountains of the Alaska Range is a vast, pristine wilderness larger than Massachusetts. Possibly more of a lure than the actual mountain, wild animals attract many of the park's visitors. The Denali has earned the nickname the Subarctic Serengeti for its thriving wildlife population. Denali's big five mammals are grizzly bears, gray wolves, caribou, Dall sheep, and moose. A sweet mountaintop picnic. The first successful expedition up Denali's 19,470-foot north peak was accomplished by a group of local residents in 1910. Amazingly, they enjoyed hot chocolate and donuts at the summit. I think I would also climb this mountain and then eat donuts and drink hot chocolate. I also didn't know that Mount McKinley had a different name to it. That's cool. Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve. Glacier Bay is Alaska's southernmost national park. It is also a living laboratory where scientists study glacial recession. The ice in and around Glacier Bay is melting at a remarkable pace. In fact, the phenomena is the fastest glacial retreat on record. When Captain George Vancouver first charted these waters in 1974, what is now the bay was little more than an indentation in a vast sheet of ice that extended for hundreds of miles. During the next 200 years, the glaciers receded more than 60 miles, creating a master peak of rock, ice, and water. Today, massive glaciers and majestic mountains, some of which have peaks 15,000 feet above sea level, ring Glacier Bay. The bay is also a critical wildlife habitat, sustaining humpback whales, orcas, porpoises, seals, and sea otters in its waters, and moose, black bears, brown bears, wolves, and deer on the surrounding shore. That does sound like a lot. A lot of animals over there.